Okay guys, what's up? This is the modification that I've been working on for the landing gear using Neodymium Magnets. If you're not familiar with them, they're just these little round disc magnets. They're like earth magnets, but they're really strong. I just use these little ones, but as you can see, if you take a hammer, you know, they're real strong. So what I did was I took a couple of these and fixed them to the gear. I made a bracket on the backhand side of the gear here. Let me see if I can get you a shot of that. I made an aluminum bracket on the backhand side here, and then affixed a neodymium magnet to it, and then one on the front of the gear. This is just my prototype setup to make sure that the worm gear would be strong enough to detach them. But my thought process behind this is from what I've been looking at, when you're going down the runway or when you touch down, I feel that this brace right here could cave in, which will take all of the weight and transfer it over to this right here, the worm gear, and this bracket here. If you can see down here, there's this little clevis right back down here. There's this little clevis that the motor for the worm gear is actually attached to, and so you know, the weight's going to transfer, of course, to the weakest link. And even when you operate the gear, if you watch that clevis with this thing moving around, it twists a little bit. So without anything supporting that weight, if this thing collapses a little bit, you've got all the weight on the back here. So my thought process is by adding a magnet to the front, if this collapses a little bit, like you could see right now as I push this, it doesn't move anywhere. It stays on the gear. Doesn't go anywhere. But if you do that without this setup, you'll notice the gear rocks back and forth. So again, this is just my prototype one, so I don't have it affixed perfectly in place yet, but I can still work the gear for you guys just to kind of. I'll open it up and show you what it looks like here, if I can get the camera set up here. All right, here we go. So I'll just kind of hold this in place real quick and drop the gear. All right, and then you can see on the back side here, you can see the aluminum bracket. I just have a neodymium magnet in place there, and then this one is epoxied into place onto a metal plate temporarily, and then I just taped over it to hold it in place, just to make sure that the design was going to work. And I think it's going to work pretty good. So I'm going to go ahead and make the final design and fix the permanent neodymium magnet to the gear here, and then I'll use a similar design to this aluminum bracket. I'll use a similar design to this aluminum bracket, but I'll make another plate that'll have a hole in it, and then the neodymium magnet will be sitting inside of that plate, and then either screw it together or attach it so that it's not just epoxy, because after a while the epoxy is probably going to get brittle and it would snap off. So I'll just come up with a slightly different design for that. And that's it. So I'll have some pictures up, and I'll show you guys in more detail when I get the permanent one in place.